Good evening, Canby. We're going to call to order the Urban Renewal Agency meeting for May 7th, 2025. We'll put the, that is the official call. Is there any citizen input or community announcements, Teresa?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Paul? I'll have a motion for the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Good. Oh, good. You're joining us. And Commissioner Stearns is joining us. It's 6:30.
I move to approve the consent agenda that includes the minutes from April 2nd, 2025, Urban Renewal Agency meeting, the reappointment of member Elizabeth Chapin to the Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee with term ending June 30th, 2026.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Waterman. I was going to call you Commissioner Hall. Commissioner Waterman and seconded by Commissioner Davis to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the approval of the Urban Renewal Agency meeting minutes for April 2nd, 2025, and the reappointment of member Elizabeth Chapin to the Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee with her term ending June 30, 2027. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Davis, did I hear a vote from you?
I said aye.
Okay, sorry. All right, that passes 6-0. Okay. New business. We're going to consider a facade improvement program application. Eileen?
Yeah, so council, we are going to consider a facade improvement program application. Tyler, are you going to lead this item? Great.
Good evening, Chair Hensley and Urban Renewal Agency. My name is Tyler Nizer. I'm the Economic Development and Tourism Coordinator for the City of Canby. And I'm here before you because the City of Canby has received an application for the Facade Improvement Program, and that is for 4-8 Financial at 266 Northwest 1st Avenue here in Canby, Oregon. And the grant request is for up to $13,500. And the grant matches the private financial investment of the business 1-to-1. And the City of Canby requires 3 bids and reimburses the applicant based on the lowest bid out of the 3. And so the applicant is requesting the funding to replace the awning with a new black awning complementary to the neighboring businesses in that area. And they're going to also replace the dry rot and repair that and the gutters in the same area, and then repaint the entryway along with the window trims. And a little bit of background about the Facade Improvement Program. Since 2010, the Urban Renewal Agency has funded construction grants of up to $25,000 to encourage private investment within Canby's Urban Renewal District. The Facade Improvement Program partners with property owners and businesses to make improvements to the exterior of the buildings clearly visible from the street. And so this partnership helps the Canby Business District revitalize and become more inviting to tenants, customers, and residents. This program has been successful in generating design improvements in downtown Canby and along Highway 99E. And so further explanation of the project and the business. 4-8 Financial is located in Canby at 266 Northwest 1st Avenue, and the owner of the building is seeking to enhance the appearance of their building facing Northwest 2nd Avenue. This space faces 3 out of the 5 major events the City of Canby hosts. And so those are the First Thursday Night Market, which occurs on the first Thursday of every month from 5 to 8 p.m. The Canby Independence Day celebration, which is on the 4th of July every year, and also the Canby Big Night Out Street Dance, which is on August 22nd this year. I know we're not talking about events, but I never want to miss an opportunity to promote our events and the dates that they're happening.
I was going to commend you on your opportunity there.
So this is a highly trafficked area, and we're really thrilled that this will be improved. As they seek to transform the space, they have discovered dry rot damage. In addition to repairing any dry rot, the owner will further improve the exterior of the building with an awning, paint, and improve entryway. Owners of 4-8 Financial plan to repaint with same colors and update the awning in black, which will complement neighboring features of the exterior. The project will include upgrades to the rear of the building seen from Second Avenue, which we discussed, and the economic staff has worked with the applicant, so they are well aware the grant can only be utilized for work started after approval from the Urban Renewal Agency. And so the application has been sent to our design committee, and I just wanted to let you know kind of the comments we received, which are they look great, I approve, I'm in full support of this project. This is a very good step in restoring the look and function of this old building. And I approve the facade improvement application for 408 Financial Building located at 266 Northwest First Avenue. And then the last one being I'm in support of this project. So full support from the design committee and excited for this project. The fiscal impact of this is $13,500 to the Urban Renewal Agency. And I just wanted to provide further clarification on that, as this one's a little bit different than past applications. Typically, we approve projects up to $25,000, but the budget line item for the facade improvement program this year was $40,000. And we previously had an application that you guys approved, and the leftover funds are $13,500. And so we want to be fiscally responsible with the budget. And it actually is perfect for this project because it is projected to cost $13,750. And so with the match of the City of Canby, it would be $6,875 from us and $6,875 from 408 Financial. And while all projects are on time and under budget,
Sure they are.
we just want to be sure in case there's, a little bit extra costs or whatever that we're able to support the business as best we can. And so that's the reason for the $13,500. And I wanted to also just kind of show you guys a visual of the area. And then we highlighted and circled the green and cloth facade awning that will be replaced in that area. And so it'll be complementary to the Holly Street Mall facade awning there. So I think that's everything I have. Adrienne with 408 Financial is here, so she can come up. And if you have any questions for her or myself, we're happy to answer whatever you guys have.
Welcome, Adrienne. I actually thank you for bringing up the fiscal part of it, because I know that offline we had some questions about that, and I think you might have answered them ahead of time, but if I see hands go up, because I was recalling that last project. So thank you for addressing that ahead of time. I'll go to Commissioner Stearns, but also Teresa, I see that there's two in the chat. Is there something I need to pay attention to? While you look, we'll listen to Commissioner Stearns.
Oh, were you done?
Go ahead.
It's just my question is, and this is more, so we approved $13,500 now. Our budget cycle ends in July 31st. Does this mean
June 30.
or June 30, sorry, June 30? Does that mean the funds have to be dispersed by then to be in this, to be valid for this budget cycle, or?
They just have to be encumbered by then.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're encumbered by them, so that's not going to be an issue.
no.
Okay.
Did you have any questions, Commissioner?
So is it, and normally when we do the approval and the actual application for 13.5, that's for the actual total project, not the actual approval of the city's matching money, right?
Right.
Like you said, it's the 65, so we're assuming that it's going to be divided.
Yeah, we're not anticipating it going over the 6,875, but should it, we're covered and we don't have to,
Yeah, it's up to
yeah,
13.5.
up to 13,500.
We have enough, we have 13.5 in the budget, so we can
Right.
go up to that, but it's not expected to go that high.
Right. So if the quote changes, then we would be on, we would
As long as
match
it's
higher.
under 13.5, they won't come back to us.
Okay, so the max we would ever pay is the 6,700.
No.
No, it would be up to 13,500, just because there could be, other issues that we're not seeing from the quote.
So we're
It is
budgeting
a
up to
matching, right?
13,500, but only get to 13,500 if it got to $27,000 total.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
total cost. In other words, they can't we can't do more than half the cost.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So their quote would have to go from 13.7 to 27.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that seems a little unlikely.
And when that
If it
happens, does
does,
it come back to the?
we just quit. No.
If that does happen, does that come back to us, or does it?
We only
just get-
approved to
it just-
13.5. It would have to come
So,
back.
Yes.
okay,
So if it goes over 27,000, then either they have to,
They
Be
either take
content.
the cost or they have to come back.
yeah.
okay.
Am I right, Eileen? I think that's how
We
that
don't
works.
have, there's 15,000 that is left in the
There's
facade improvement?
13,500,
13,500,
yeah.
okay.
Right.
So, yes.
So if they needed more, they'd actually have to come back to the next budget cycle. But I don't see that happening. Commissioner Davis or Commissioner Patton, raise your hand if you have a question, please. I'm seeing nothing from Commissioner Patton. Are you good, Commissioner Davis?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation. Do we have any other questions or comments or deliberation? Or if not, I'll take a motion.
Hey,
Bottom line.
Chairman, I move to approve the matching grant of up to $13,500 for 4-8 financial under the guidelines of the Canby Facade Improvement Program.
Second.
Okay, it's been a motion made by Commissioner Stearns and seconded by Commissioner Waterman to approve the matching grant of $13,500 for 4-8 financial under the guidelines of the Canby Facade Improvement Program. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Commissioner Davis, how do you vote?
Opposed?
Okay, that passes 5-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any more business before the agency?
4-1, yeah, 4-1, yeah.
4-1, I'm sorry. I forgot that Mr. Hudson wasn't on yet.
No, there is no other business,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, within that, we will adjourn this meeting, and we will see you at 7 o'clock for the city council meeting. Father God, I thank you for the blessings you bestow upon us in this community. Thank you for the leaders here on the dais and those in the world that make the decisions and do some of the heavy lifting, but thank you for the citizens who bring their concerns to us. We hope that give us the discernment and good decision-making to help them with their concerns. I thank you for our first responders, keep them safe, and get them home safe to their families each evening. This, I thank you, Lord. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I believe next item on the agenda, we are not meeting, am I right? Elaine, is there anything, please? Okay. Then we'll move on to item number 3. We have a Mental Health Awareness Month proclamation, which I will read. Whereas mental health is a part of everyone's overall health and well-being, and mental illnesses are prevalent in our country, state, and nation, with 1 in 5 adults experiencing a mental health issue every year. Whereas stigma and the resulting discrimination and primary obstacle is to early identification and effective treatment of individuals with mental illness and their ability to recover to lead full, productive lives. Whereas approximately half of chronic mental illnesses begin by the age of 14, and suicide is the second leading cause of death in individuals 10 to 14 and 25 to 34. Whereas long delays averaging 11 years occur between the time symptoms first appear and when an individual gets help, and it's therefore essential to cure the stigma and discrimination that is the primary cause for those delays. Whereas every citizen and community can make a difference in helping cure the stigma and discrimination that for too long has surrounded mental illness and discouraged people from getting help. And whereas public education and civic engagement improves the lives of individuals and families affected by mental illness. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Canby, a municipal corporation in the County of Clackamas in the state of Oregon, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month to increase public understanding of the importance of mental health, to promote identification and timely treatment of mental illnesses, and to cure the resulting stigma and discrimination. Dated this 7th day of May 2025. And I've signed this proclamation, and we do have the president of our Canby Suicide Prevention Task Force here to accept this proclamation. And before I stand up and give this to him, I just kind of want to make the announcement that I am one of the founding members of this coalition and prevention task force, and we're always accepting volunteers. So if you want to help, reach out to us. How'd I do, Scott? You absolutely may have my, there you go. Oh, wait, Jamie wants a photo op. Do it quick. I know. We're going to do our thing here.
1, 2, 3. Oh. I promise I got it.
Yes, Scott, please.
Thank you, Council and Council President Henley, for this opportunity and for this honor of being the one to get to receive this proclamation. As you know, we started the task force in 2018. A lot of people have been involved, a lot of quality people have spent a lot of time trying to move forward. The community's been involved. I was just going through the books the other day, and I am very thankful that you and a variety of other folks were able to raise some money, get us a wonderful curriculum for the schools, get us a variety of signs and everything else. So just since we might have a moment here, I want to make sure, I do have handy dandy flyers and things too, by the way, magnets, but
You came prepared.
what we've really tried to move to since those days is, that's why you see the signs around town for the 988. And so I would encourage anybody who may be watching this and seeing this, that gets you directly to Lines for Life, which puts you in touch with quality service providers who can connect you. And also the county has an outstanding program at 8585. And that also will then directly allow you to be engaged with individuals to refer you out, resource you out. And lastly, there's also a teen line specifically designed to talk to teenagers, both in text, phone, and in video. So we will continue to put our little signs up and our handouts, and we're trying to organize right now for another push. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and we'll probably come back to you and see you in September when it's Suicide Prevention.
Prevention Month.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Scott, appreciate it. I also want to mention Brandon, our mental health specialist with the police department. Since he is here, I want to thank him for his work helping us with that task force as well. Okay. Next up, we have citizen comment and community announcements. If you want to speak with the council, there are new cards in the back. Please fill out a comment card. This is for the audience members to address the city council on items not on the agenda. If you are attending in person, you'll fill out a comment card. In the future, if you want to speak virtually, please contact the city recorder by 4:30 p.m. on the meeting day. There aren't any on here now for buying time, but if you do want to buy time, there's a new feature on our card that you fill out the back. Yes, Teresa? Thank you. I appreciate that. So while y'all filling out your cards, we have a presentation for you that went with the proclamation. I apologize for missing that, as they were the same line item. So we are going to hear from Gary from NAMI, and he is attending virtually, and he has a slide presentation for us. Hello, Gary, welcome, thank you.
Well, hello, and thank you. And thank you very much for the opportunity, City Council and Mayor. And hello to Scott and Brandon, by the way. We love what you're doing with the Suicide Coalition. And obviously, we want to support that and do support that in any way, shape, or form we can. So I just want to take a few minutes and introduce you to NAMI. This is the basics about NAMI, the who, what, where, and why. You can go ahead and advance the slide. It'll advance.
There it goes.
There we go. So I have a question for y'all, and you can just shout out the answer, since usually when I'm there, I have a genuine NAMI-Clackamas stress ball to give away to somebody who gets the closest. But what do you think is the average time between the time someone suspects they might have a mental health condition and the time that they actually seek treatment for it? Anybody?
It was 11 years of the proclamation.
Should be weeks.
Could be weeks. I heard someone, they must be reading ahead because they got the answer right. But yes, it is not weeks, it is not months, it is years. And go ahead and advance the slide. Because the answer is 11 years. And that is not because of access. That is an issue. It's not because of cost. That's also an issue. But it really is about that nasty thing called stigma and discrimination. That's what takes so long. When you think about it, if you admit to having a mental health issue, suddenly everything about you is open to question. All right, what you've done, what you did, what you can do, what you might do, all of those things. So go ahead and advance the slide. How do we go ahead and cope with that? Right, well, you know, the real thing is that ugly word called change. We need to change the conversation and talk about it. Ask the question, are you okay? If you see someone or know someone that you think might be in distress, don't be afraid of it. Lean in, talk about it. Change the language. Don't refer to someone as their disease. They're not schizophrenic or OCD or bipolar. They have the disease. And the sooner we can separate the person from the disease, the better we can support their recovery. Also, don't want to refer to someone as having committed suicide if possible. Commit indicates a crime, a sin, and while suicide is never the desired outcome, referring to that as someone as having committed suicide gives it a negative connotation and really often keeps people from feeling comfortable talking about it if they are having suicidal ideation. And if they are, we want them to talk about it. So your language does matter when it comes to stigma, discrimination, and opening up the conversation, because what doing all that does is is it changes the perception. It does allow people to share their stories. Sharing stories is what NAMI is all about. That's what peer support is all about, and it really does change lives and make a difference. It also lets people know that A, they're not alone, and B, that recovery is likely. In fact, recovery is more likely from a mental health condition than it is from cancer, diabetes, or heart disease. And all of that changes the outcome, stops the stigma, allows the person, the people to seek help, and maybe take that 11 years and cut it down to 11 weeks, maybe 11 days, maybe even less. Go ahead and change the slide. So is there anybody there? Just speak up since I can't see raised hands. Anybody that's had an experience with NAMI? Yeah. Okay, so basically go ahead and advance it. Let's tell you who we are. Okay, NAMI is part of 600 affiliates around the country. You can advance the slide. One more. There we go. Over 600 affiliates around the country. They're usually broken down by county because that's where the healthcare funding comes from. So anywhere you go, you will find a NAMI. And just like anywhere you go, you'll likely find a McDonald's. And much like that brand, we also have the same programs available to all of our affiliates around the country. Some affiliates may not have the capacity because we do depend on volunteers for a lot of our programs and services, so they may not have the volunteer base. We're fortunate in Clackamas that we have staff that can also fill in when we can't find volunteers. So go ahead and advance the slide. Peer support, as I said, changes lives. We've been at this since 1978. That's clearly evidenced by the fashion sense in that picture. You can see they're all wearing tie-dye t-shirts. Go ahead and advance. Success stories abound. My favorite is that short one. Support groups have brought me out of a foggy, depressed existence and improved my quality of life. And that's part of our mission statement, is to improve the quality of life for everyone impacted by mental health issues. Go ahead and advance. So what do we do? Classes, peer-to-peer classes. Those are for adults with mental health issues. It's an 8-week class. They work on a recovery plan. They learn to understand their disease. You would be amazed at how few people who have a diagnosis don't understand their disease. So it helps them learn their disease, helps them work on a recovery plan. The family-to-family class is another 8-week class. We have one starting up May 10th in Oregon City, in person. We're finally back to in-person classes and hopefully support groups soon. But that's an 8-week class for anybody that cares for or about somebody with a mental health issue. That means family members, significant others, partners, acquaintances, coworkers, whatever. And there they also talk about the diagnoses, learn a lot about their loved ones, the person they care about's condition, learn empathy in a big way in terms of how to empathize with those symptoms and those issues, and also a lot about self-care, because that's really important to someone who's a caregiver. Basics is a 6-week class. Excuse me, that's for parents, caregivers of younger folks. We know that in those younger ages, especially up to early teens even, there can be behavioral issues that mask a mental health issue or get confused with one. So we really kind of want to know how to tell the difference, but we also want to know how to advocate for that youngster because, you know, so often they don't have the voice, they don't have the words, and the system is not particularly well situated yet to handle all of those basic needs. Next slide. We have support groups, 3 weekly support groups for individuals with mental health issues, 3 monthlies, in fact, one is twice a month, for family members, anybody who cares for about someone. We have 2 family book clubs, including one that's a Latinx book club. We have a queer support group, LGBTQIA2S+, twice a month. Women-only support group, once a month. We have a suicide bereavement group that meets in our office twice a month. That's for people who have been left behind by a suicide. Compassionate Friends is for family members who have lost a child. Next slide. Peer support specialists, we have 3 of them on staff. They're half-time, so there's coverage virtually all the time. And it's their job to connect you with the resources that you need, that you're entitled to, that are out there in the community, and help you walk through that process. So they don't just leave you alone when you end up getting a referral. They'll walk you through the process. They'll be with you every step of the way, sometimes a year or more, because that's sometimes how long it can take to access some services like housing. So they'll be with you there because the last thing in the world someone who's in crisis or someone who's dealing with somebody in crisis needs is to deal with some silly bureaucracy. And so that's what they'll help you do, peer support specialist staff. Next slide. We also have special projects in the jail. Adults in custody in the jail now get mental health classes once a week and a support group once a week. That's something we're very proud of and very happy to have in the jail. And we thank very much our former jail commander, now Under Sheriff Lee Eby, for making that happen for us. So next slide. We also do lots of presentations. In Our Own Voice is one of my favorites. It's the ultimate empathy builder. 4 pairs of people on video, 2 people live, who talk about their journey with a mental health issue, all the way from discovery through recovery. Mental Health Matters is a 101 on mental health. Lunch and Learn is Mental Health Matters in the lunch format. We bring the learn, you bring the lunch. And then Ending the Silence is a program that goes into middle and high schools. It teaches the youngsters in their health class how to identify certain signs and signals of a mental health condition, also some tools to help a friend, and it opens the conversation. I mean, Ending the Silence is a perfect title for it because it really does want to open up the conversation, although we do find that most of the middle and high school students are already talking about it, they're already aware of it, just maybe not to each other. So those are our presentations. Next slide. We also have these coming up, our Queer Connection Support Group. I think I mentioned that. That's starting the 2nd and 4th Mondays of the month. And that is online. So you can register for that, anyone that you know that identifies in that community. I mentioned our Family to Family class starting in May 10th. And then with the Oregon City School District, we are doing a Parenting and Mental Health Conference. Our second one, we did one in Canby with the Canby School District last year. And so we're now doing this one. We'll be doing several more of these, a few with the North Clackamas School District. We've also talked to the Canby School District about doing more. So, but we did it out there with you guys last year, so thank you very much for your support on that. Next slide. Best part about it, okay, barrier-free. With that, what do we mean by it? No diagnosis, no referral, no insurance, no cost. Every service I've just described, every service that we provide is all at no cost to anyone without any barriers, no worries about insurance, diagnosis, or referrals. Next slide. We obviously, it's a world's worth business model. So the way we deal with that is fundraising. We have our Stand Ups Against Stigma Comedy Night in March every year. This was our 3rd year. Beat the previous years when it came to attendance and money raised. And that's just a great opportunity to celebrate mental health with 5 stand-ups from the Northwest, all of whom experience mental health issues and use humor as part of their recovery. NAMI Walk's coming up May 17th. That's at Peninsula Park. Another celebration, great way to get together with like-minded people who care about mental health. Party with a Purpose is our big fundraiser every year. That's the single source of this type of fundraising for us. It's a dinner auction. Great opportunity for you to get together with roughly about anywhere between 180 and 200 people, depending. Get a chance to have a beautiful dinner at Gray Gables, which is a wonderful place to celebrate, and give you a chance to bid on things you didn't know you needed, and raise lots of money for us. Champion Circle is our monthly financial support vehicle. We love to have our monthly sustaining supporters, much like OPB does. So we really do depend on that, and that is growing. We started out with 3 barely 2 years ago. We now have almost 50 monthly supporters, so we really appreciate all those folks. Next slide. Volunteers are really something that are very, very important to us. While they're not free, they do help us mitigate the costs of delivering these services. They teach, they facilitate, serve in a variety of different capacities for us. Anybody that's interested in volunteering can contact our volunteer coordinator. And I will be making sure that there's a PDF of this with direct links in it that goes back to you, so you'll be able to access it as well. And next slide. One way for you to stay connected, our monthly newsletter. We just sent it out. This for May. It really is a great way to stay abreast of all of our programs and services. It's done electronically. I got to eliminate that part about print every other month because it doesn't. We've eliminated the print newsletter, so it's all electronic. We do not spam you. Every single email that you get from us will be specific to a program or service that we provide, often something new. So we will not spam you. Anybody that's interested can grab that QR code or go to that website and get our monthly newsletter. And I think, next slide, that's it. In case anybody has any questions. By the way, this is my companion and a therapy dog. His name is Carlin. And yes, he is named after George because he makes us laugh so darn much. So, anybody have any questions?
Does anyone have any
Anything I
questions
covered?
for Gary? Raise your hand. I see none. Gary, great presentation. Thank you for being here tonight.
You're very welcome, and thank you very, very much for the opportunity. I'm sorry I couldn't have been there in person, but I ended up getting stuck in Northeast Portland, and obviously there was no way for me to get out there in enough time.
I appreciate that. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your meeting, and happy Mental Health Awareness Month.
Thanks. Okay, now we will move to citizen input and community announcements. I currently have 4 cards. Do we have anyone online, Teresa? Okay. We will take public comment. I have none that are buying time, so each of you will have 3 minutes. If there's any items brought up that need action in the future, we will put that on a future agenda. We will not be fleshing out those ideas this evening. First comment card I have is Mr. Greg Perez.
Am I on now? It is, okay.
We hear you.
Well, I'm going to be very unprofessional this evening. I've got to read this due to the fact I've got a lot of things going. So I'm not going to sugarcoat anything here, but I'd like to say good evening to everybody, city councilors, city administrator, and city staff. My name is Greg Perez. I live at 121 Northwest 12th Avenue. And I'm speaking on the behalf of the citizens of Canby that contact me, even when I'm out of state traveling. People keep in contact with me and let me know what's going on. So today I'm here speaking on the residents' behalf of Canby. Once again, we are at a point, and the lowest point, the city of Canby has been in. It all begins with the city administrator and the financial director. Both have taken the city into a downward spiral, and if you did your homework, we would not be in this position we are in today. Knowing and hiring someone and not looking into their past track record is detrimental to the city of Canby. What the residents need to know is the city is in the midst of turmoil, and it's destroying the working personnel from inside out. If the council knows this is happening, why are you letting this continue to destroy what has been worked on so hard by others? As city personnel are attacked from within, where is the councilor's support for the city personnel? For the council to let this continue without making tough decisions by hurting someone's feelings, some of you are part of the problem. Think of your constituents and why they voted you in. It will be a real different time next time around. Don't get too comfortable. I understand when you have someone to look up to and they have no leadership traits, it's hard for you to understand the full damage that is continuing to grow. You have to ask yourself some big questions, and I do too. Why are we dealing with a $3 million deficit? Correct me if I'm wrong. Why are we running a city without a human resources person? Can't you see what's in place is not working? It's time to make some tough decisions with personnel changes and go in another direction. The way the city is going right now is not working. If you feel you can't take care of the residents of Canby and run the city with integrity and honesty, maybe it's time for you to make a change. As this continues to fester, keep in the back of your mind you were supporting a ship without a rudder. Don't be on that one that goes down with a ship for the next election and did nothing to make crucial changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. Next, we have Kathy Robinson.
Good evening.
Hello, Kathy.
I'm not here to ask for anything, and I'm not here to complain about anything, and I'm not here to raise a concern. I am just here tonight representing the Canby Adult Center to say a big, huge thank you to this council. I will read from my letter a little bit. Mayor Hodson, Council President Hensley, and all of you councilors and city staff. On behalf of our board, staff, volunteers, and over 1,000 clients of the Adult Center, I want to thank you for the grant you made to us for $512,000 a couple months ago to support our building purchase. I'm very pleased to share the news that we closed on our purchase last Friday. The building is ours, and for the first time in over 40 years of service to Canby's older adult community, we have a home to call our own. I also want to thank the city for many years of support, formal and informal, offered by many of your counselors, current and past. My own time started with Rich Ayers as our council liaison, so that's going back a few years. We also really want to recognize your public works and parks teams in particular for keeping the lights on, mostly free of leaks. Dustin's laughing behind me. And our landscaping neat and well-watered. Thanks to Administrator Stein for plugging away at several grant opportunities with us, never losing hope that dollars will eventually come through, and I believe they will. Finally, I'm glad you're here tonight, Councilor Davis. I really want to express our gratitude for Councilor Davis for his many years of support to the Adult Center and to the seniors of our community. From weekly volunteering in the dining room, long before I started at the Adult Center 16 years ago, 6 years of service on our board, and his continuing role as council liaison. His consistent support has been critical to the success of our efforts on behalf of Canby's older adults. So thank you, Jim. As an update and just a reminder where we are, we've signed or are in the process of signing rental agreements with 2 different churches, one of them a Spanish-speaking church, 1 community preschool, 3 12-step programs, and a wool spinning club. That was something I didn't even know existed. These are all groups that have used the Methodist Church building, and they will all continue to do so. It's truly going to be a shared space, meeting multiple needs and interests of the community. We're really excited about the opportunities these relationships present. We're working with the capital campaign team. We have several large grants already in the works, and we're just really, really grateful for the funds awarded by the city that allowed us to make our down payment pretty much in full without tapping into an investment fund that is in a very uncertain market. We owe you gratitude, a plaque on our wall, and free lunch if you ever decide to join us, and our lunches aren't bad. We'll no longer be tenants of the city, but we hope and trust that CAC and the City of Canby will continue to find ways to collaborate to support Canby's older adult community. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, I'm just going in order received. Next, we have Ruth Reyes. You have 3 minutes, hon.
Thank you. My name is Ruth. I have been employed with the city since July 2021, and I only have 3 minutes, so I'm going to have to make this fast. I started as a court clerk and remained as backup after applying and getting hired as city utility billing technician. This position was vacant with little to no process manuals, and I restructured the position in the past 3 years, mainly by trial and error. I've had double coverage days where it would consist of working both utility billing and court. I have been interpreting and translating for various city departments, mainly for the courts, being that I am the resource for the Spanish community, as I was able to explain all of their options with versus minimal interpretation from Google Translate. Eventually, I was pressured by the finance director into no longer providing this resource, as he was in dislike of this arrangement. A citywide compensation study was held and my job was not affected. However, a former HR director conducted a separate study, and after an intent to demote me through bargaining, I was able to keep my pay rate with the condition that more tasks were added to my job description. The other finance team members who were giving increases stayed the same or promised promotions. As this time went by, the team members were also given permission that I was not given. I was being treated differently than they were. The finance director holds weekly team meetings, and in these meetings, he highly criticized multiple council members, going as far as mocking one of your civilian jobs and saying one of you should go jump off a bridge. He also pulled up a photo of a non-city employee online, saying he had a face that looked punchable. Recently, a meeting was held in attendance of the city administrator, finance director, and union president, and myself. The finance director became verbally aggressive towards myself and the union president. The city administrator did nothing as the director continued this behavior. At the peak of his anger, he took away working from home from me. At this point, I was in tears and had to cut the meeting short. A couple days later, I was required to track my days minute by minute on an Excel spreadsheet and send them to him at the end of every day. I was required to arrive 5 minutes prior to my work shift to get my workstation ready. I was required to message him upon arrival at the beginning and end of my breaks, at the beginning and end of lunches, and upon my departure. While showing me how to use this Excel spreadsheet, the finance director agreed I would be paid for those 5 minutes that I came in early. This was not true. I let him know via email requiring me to arrive early and not pay me was against the law, and moving forward, I would be here from 8 to 4:30 and no more. I had no further response from him. The city administrator has stated it is their job to protect the city, but at this point, the protection shouldn't be from me, it should be from the finance director. The finance director has shown to be verbally aggressive and use intimidation strategies to get their way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. If you have more, you can email it to the recorder and she'll send it to us.
Thank you.
Next, we have Chris Getz.
Hello, Mayor, councilors. My name is Chris Getz. I'm the president of Ask Me Local 350-6. I'm here before you on behalf of the union to express our deep concerns regarding our ongoing lack of confidence in the leadership of our city administrator. There has been little change in direction since we first came before you requesting for better leadership, a process to share our concerns with council, and better guidance for our city, among other things. We trusted the process that given time, things would change for the better. As it turns out, it only changes for the worst. There has been a lack of process and guidance for issues in the workplace, increase in liability to the city, discrimination, and now most recently, the city faces a $3 million deficit. I want to come back to the first issue regarding lack of process and leadership for the issues in the workplace. I was involved in a meeting with the city administrator, finance director, along with a union member seeking to resolve issues in the workplace. In the meeting, I was verbally assaulted by the finance director with his tone, actions, words, posture in front of the union member and the city administrator. The city administrator took no action during the meeting to have the abuse stopped or after the meeting as a follow-up with the finance director. The next day, I emailed a formal complaint to the acting HR director, who is also the city administrator, which seems to be a conflict of interest. She responded admitting to the actions from the finance director were aggressive, yet still no action was taken. The union has no other place to go to find resolution. We are left with no option but to come before you today with a vote of no confidence on our city administrator. The union is committed to collaborating with the city to ensure a well-being for both its employees and the community we serve. However, it is increasingly difficult to move forward when the city administrator seems disconnected from the values that should guide our public service. The union members who work tirelessly for the city deserve to feel that their contributions are recognized and respected. Unfortunately, many feel that their voices are not being heard, or worse, being silenced, leading to a dissatisfaction and general erosion of trust in the city administrator's leadership. We respectfully urge the City Council to recognize the severity of this issue and take proactive steps to address the concerns of the workforce. We believe that with stronger leadership, open dialogue, and mutual respect, we can work together to ensure the continued success and well-being of our great city and its employees. Thank you for your time and commitment to making the city a better place.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, I think I failed to mention earlier, I do want to call to everyone's attention that while it looks like we don't have a full vote, we do have, all of us here except the mayor, we do have councilors Patton, Davis, and Maldonado on Zoom. Mr. Mayor is out of town, so he will be watching, I think he's watching us on YouTube from the airport. Moving to the next item on the agenda, we have the consent agenda. And I see a hand from Councilor Maldonado.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the consent agenda that includes the minutes of the April 9th, 2025 City Council regular meeting and the minutes of the April 23rd, 2025 City Council regular meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Counselor Maldonado and seconded by Counselor Davis to approve the consent agenda that includes the minutes of the April 9th, 2025 council meeting and the minutes of the April 23rd, 2025 city council regular meeting. All those in favor? Or any discussion or amendments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? I believe we have a 6-0. 5. There's 6 of us, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have Councilor Maldonado for the last meeting. Yeah, we're 6 now. Okay, 6-0. Very good, thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is ordinances and resolutions. First item is to consider ordinance number 1642. This is a second reading. Is there anything new?
There is nothing new to add to this item.
Council, do you have any questions, or do you remember this from the last meeting? I'll accept a motion.
I move to approve or adopt ordinance 1642, ordinance authorizing the city administrator to enter into a contract for professional services for engineering.
Get your microphone. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that Councilor Patton? Was that you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved by Councilor Waterman and seconded by Councilor Patton to adopt ordinance number 1642, an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to enter into a contract for professional services for engineer of record. Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Waterman,
Aye.
Counselor Stearns,
Aye.
Counselor Davis,
Aye.
Counselor Maldonado,
Aye.
Counselor Patton,
Aye.
Council President Hensley.
Aye. That is passed 6-0. Second ordinance is to consider ordinance number 1643. This is a first reading. Eileen?
It is a first reading, and this is a contract to award to DeWitt Construction. And I believe that Kern McLeod is here, and they're going to present this to the council. Great.
Hello, Kurt.
Good evening. I'm Kurt McLeod. Brought my partner, Ed Hodges. He's been with our firm for about 16 years. He's the president of our firm now. And it was very interesting to see Scott Taylor.
Yeah, former mayor. Can you sit so that you're closer to the mic? I'm sorry. Thank you.
Scott and Bob Westcott were instrumental in hiring us for the first time in 1985. And we were like gum. We haven't got rid of us, so we've been here for 40 years. So
You've been here as long as I have. I know that. It's like gum under the chair.
Yep. So tonight is that ordinance you just approved was continuing our engineering of record for the city, which we appreciate. Thank you for that. So tonight, I guess we're presenting an ordinance for the first reading of construction for the Walnut Street sanitary sewer crossing. The Walnut Street project has 3 components to it. This is the first of 3 bids that we anticipate, and this is simply to bring sanitary sewer from Willow Creek, from Teakwood Circle over to the south side of the highway. This was estimated at about $1 million. It came in at $837, so the price was very good. The overall project, there's 2 other projects. One is the highway signalization by itself, which is an ODOT project, and the other is a Walnut Street extension. So we've been working to get the ODOT approval for a year, more than a year. So we still have issues to contend with before we're going to get the approval of the signalization itself. And the plans for both the signal and the roadway improvement are complete, just waiting for that approval. So the estimate for the overall project is just under $10 million. And I know that the first part of it's budgeted for this year and next year. So the Walnut Street itself was about $7.25 million, and the signalization and the highway work is $1.5 million. So tonight, what we're asking for is the council's approval for first reading of the contract for DeWitt Construction.
Okay. Any questions for the presenters? Counselor Stearns?
This is for this particular contract is for what exactly? I know the one.
We have to cross the railroad tracks, we need to cross the highway, and then we're putting about 1,000 feet of sanitary sewer in. The only way we were able to get gravity sanitary sewer to this area of Walnut Street, South Walnut Street, was to tie into Teakwood Circle and Willow Creek Estates. So this contract is only to cross under the railroad and cross under the highway and bring the sanitary sewer to the project site.
Okay.
Seeing no hands, any other questions? Counselor Patton, Counselor Davis? Counselor Maldonado? Counselor Waterman, any questions for the presenters? Okay.
None at this time.
Okay. I will take a motion.
Move to adopt ordinance 1643, authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract with DeWitt Construction in the amount of $837,720 for the Walnut Street Sanitary Sewer, Highway 99, and Railroad Board project to a second reading on May 21st, 2025.
Second, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been moved by Counselor Waterman and seconded by Counselor Patton to approve ordinance number 1643, an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract with DeWitt Construction in the amount of $837,720 for the Walnut Street Sanitary Sewer, Highway 99E, and Railroad Board project. Second reading, May 21st. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. That's 6-0. Okay, moving on to the next ordinance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks. All right, we have, next item is consider ordinance number 1644, also for a first reading. Eileen?
Yeah, we'll call Todd up. This is, maybe he can comment on both these next two ordinances. One is for the purchase of transit vans for Canby Area Transit, and the second one is for the purchase of a bus. So if you would just give one staff report and have two ordinances.
Get comfy.
Is actually pretty easy. Todd Wood, Transit Director. So as you are all aware, we use buses for our transit service, and those buses wear out fairly quickly when you run up and down and use them a lot. The state requires us to keep buses for a certain amount of time, and once that time is elapsed, they allow us to apply for grants to replace them. So we've got 3 buses that have well past their useful life that we applied actually last year and received a grant in the amount of about $715,000. That's the total. That's the state's plus ours, in order to replace those 3 buses. However, for our dial-a-ride service, we have found that the transit vans, those are the ones that kind of look like an Amazon truck, somewhat. We have one now that runs around. We found it's a much better vehicle for our dial-a-ride services. It fits more places, it takes less maintenance, it's more comfortable for our passengers. So we asked the state, can we take these 2 cutaways, which are the slightly larger buses, not the full size, but the ones that look a little bit like a truck on the front with a box on the back. And can we, instead of just replacing those 2, can we instead have 4 vans? Because the cutaways are considered a level D and vans are considered a level E. So as far as the state's concerned, this is a lower level than this. So you can often replace 2 for 1. And they approved that and are allowing us to buy 4 of these vans to replace 2 of those. That gives us a full set for our dial-a-ride fleet so that all the drivers who do dial-a-ride can use those vans. So they're much more comfortable for our passengers and they work better for our service. The third vehicle, we use that a lot on our 99X and our Loop. And so we went out to bid and are replacing that with basically the same style. It's a cutaway. And multiple different people bid on these, and we just go with the one that we know the history of as far as maintenance goes, and we like the fit and finish of and meets our price requirements. So that is what these two ordinances are. It's authorization to purchase these two vehicles, or these 5 vehicles. They're separate because they're separate bids, even though the actual grant agreement, it's all in one grant agreement, but the bids themselves are separate. One for the vehicles for about $500,000, the other one for about $200,000 for the cutaway. So each of those ordinances is just authorizing us to make those purchases.
Okay, any questions for Todd? Counselor Stearns?
I have a question. I guess I understand these are to replace some buses that are wearing out.
Yeah.
So what happens to the old buses?
Well, we tend to continue to run them until they start to fall apart and cost us more to repair. So we can sometimes run these things for a few more years. I will tell you the two of them that are replaced, we've run the wheels off them. So what we do then is we strip all the equipment that's still good, like the cameras and the computers and stuff like that, and then we put them on auction on Gov Deals and sell them. And as long as they sell for less than $5,000, that money goes back into transit. For later, if it's more than $5,000, we actually have to pay that money back to the federal government.
So if you sell this for more than so you're expected to sell it for less than $5,000?
We almost always sell them for
40
less
million,
than.
Even though you buy it for 80,000 or, yeah?
Yeah, we beat them up. No. I think we sold one last year for about 5.5, and you only have to pay the difference, so back, so it's not.
So basically the money, if you sell it for more, then you have to pay back the money.
A portion of it, yeah. And it goes back to the fund that uses to fund these buses. Otherwise, we put it back into the transit fund and use it for future, so.
Any other questions for Todd? I see no hands in Zoom land. Okay, thank you. I'll accept a motion.
I move to approve ordinance 1644, an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to purchase 4 transit vans for Canby Area Transit from Northwest Bus Sales in the amount of $457,876 to a second reading on May 21st, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved by Counselor Waterman, seconded by Counselor Davis, to approve ordinance number 1644, an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to purchase 4 transit vans for Canby Area Transit from Northwest Bus Sales in the amount of $457,876 to second reading May 21st. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye, that's 6-0. Ordinance number 1645, it looks like you're still up, Todd?
It's the same thing. This is the second, this is the cutaway.
This is the cutaway. Way to consolidate presentations.
Sorry.
Bonus points. Any questions on this ordinance for Todd? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
I move to approve ordinance 1645, ordinance authorizing the city administrator to purchase 1 transit bus for Canby Area Transit from Northwest Bus Sales in the amount of $180,796 to a second reading on May 21st, 2025.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Waterman, seconded by Counselor Maldonado to approve ordinance number 1645, an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to purchase 1 transit bus for Canby Area Transit in the amount of $180,796. Second reading, May 21st, 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 6-0. Moving right along. Thank you, Todd. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 1646, an ordinance authorizing city administrator to enter into agreement for Canby City Hall and city prosecutor. So Eileen?
Great. So council, this is an ordinance. It's coming to your attention for the first time because the increase is putting the amount over my direct appointment authority. So that's why you're seeing it. So Lucy and Jessica, we're going to be, please come up to address this, this item, so.
Good evening. Thank you for having us.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi. Okay, so I'm Jessica Roberts. I have been the court supervisor for about 9 years here, and this is Lucy Heil. She's been our city prosecutor for a little over 5 years. And we're here today, as Eileen said, to propose an ordinance allowing our city administrator to enter into an agreement with Lucy in the amount of $60,000. Lucy's been with us as our city prosecutor for over 5 years now. And as said before, this contract is now coming before council because it has reached over the amount of $50,000. So now it needs to come before you. Lucy has supported our city through many changes, including COVID, virtual court, and the elimination of the misdemeanor docket. When the misdemeanor docket was transferred to the county in 2022, Lucy's contract was the only court contract that was affected. It was reduced based on the reduced workload at the time, and it has not been revised since to accommodate her for the increased workload since the misdemeanor docket has returned. Lucy continues to support the court in processing hundreds of cases. After the criminal court docket was eliminated, Lucy continued to support the court in processing hundreds of cases on probation, diversion, or with active warrants for the last 3 years. Lucy's contract with the city does not take into consideration her increased workload with the misdemeanor docket returning to the municipal court. Her contract not only needs to be increased to compensate her for her workload, but also to remain competitive with the surrounding cities as detailed in the staff report that we provided. It's also important to note that the proposed contract is almost $17,000 less per year than the salary Lucy originally proposed. Lucy is graciously willing to accept a reduced salary to assist with the current budget shortfall that we are all experiencing. And her dedication to her position and the city is unmatched, and it is essential that we retain her as our city prosecutor. And if there's any questions, we'd be happy to help.
Okay.
Counselor Stearns.
Sorry. I was like, ask questions. So the 60,000 a year, if the workload doubles, you would still have to be satisfied with the 60,000 a year?
Correct.
If the police department got really,
That's my understanding, and I'm prepared to, yes.
so it's a fixed cost?
Yes.
Okay, my question.
Anything? Any questions from Zoom land? Okay. Seeing that, I'll accept a motion. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Council President, I move to approve ordinance number
1646.
1646. There's too many on this. Ordinance authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement in the amount of $60,000 between the City of Canby and Lucy Hale, city prosecutor.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Counselor Stearns and seconded by Counselor Davis to approve ordinance number 1646, an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement in the amount of $60,000 between the City of Canby and Lucy Heil, city prosecutor, for second reading, May 21st, 2025. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye, 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much.
Next item on the agenda is to consider resolution number 1426, a cable television franchise agreement. Eileen?
So council, last meeting, you had some questions about this resolution that you wanted the city attorney to respond to, and she's prepared to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emily.
From what I recall, the conversation, well, first of all, good evening. What I recall from your questions is that the concern was whether renewing this franchise agreement with Astound would conflict with or have any impacts in any way upon any other existing franchise agreements for cable services. And the answer is no. Not directly, at least. So there is one other active franchise agreement with a cable provider. That's with the Canby Telephone Association, but you may also know them as DirectLink. It appears that, I'll look at Todd, DirectLink no longer provides cable services. Television, okay. But even if they did, there's no conflict between their existing franchise agreement and the proposed franchise agreement with Astound. Both are non-exclusive franchise agreements. Both impose the maximum franchise amount of $5,000, 5% allowed under federal law. The only impact we may see is that in the franchise agreement, proposed franchise agreement with Astound, there's a term that says that any other franchise agreement must have comparable language to the Astound agreement. So the both the Astound and the Direct Link franchise agreements would expire and be up for renewal in 2030. The Direct Link one would be up first in March of 2030. The Astound one would be up second in June of 2030. So the impact, the indirect impact that I alluded to earlier would only be that you would not be able to give Direct Link, substantively more favorable terms than Astound because of that parity language in the Astound contract. I will remind you that the Astound contract is currently expired, and we have been proceeding. Both parties have to date have been proceeding as if they still intend to be bound by the terms of the expired contract, but it'll help me sleep better at night if we could get signatures on an actual franchise agreement extension for Astound. And I'll pause there for questions.
Okay, any questions for Emily?
Great, thank you.
Really, Daniel? Oh, okay. You did some good homework there because you got everybody's answers and there were no continued questions, so that's good. Well, since there's no questions, I will entertain a motion.
I move to adopt Resolution 1426, authorizing city administrator to sign the extension agreement expiring June 21st, 2030, attached Exhibit A.
Second, Jason.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilor Waterman, seconded by Councilor Patton to approve a resolution 1426, a resolution amending the cable television franchise agreement between the City of Canby and Wave Division 7 LLC doing business as Astound to extension agreement expiring June 21st, 2030, attached as Exhibit A. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did I hear you, Herman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 6-0. Okay. The next item on the agenda was posted as resolution number 1427, but that created a duplicate resolution number, so the resolution number is now 1432. Resolution authorizing a rate increase for Cahoot. Eileen?
Yes, Council, so this is your last resolution of the night, and I want to call Chris Wright up to justify or explain the rate increase, so.
And I apologize for saying Cahoot. Oh, yeah. It's Canby Disposal. I've been here a while.
Good evening, Council President Hensley, members of the council, city staff. My name is Chris Wright. I'm the site manager for Canby Disposal Company, also Cahoot Waste Services. Jonathan Newey is our controller. Josh Brown, our district manager for the Portland metro area, is online. He had a conflict this evening. But we are here this evening requesting a slight increase, about 1.6% for most residents and commercial businesses in the area, to our rates in pursuant of Section 7.3 of our franchise agreement. I think you all have most of the information you need in the staff report, so I'll keep this as brief as possible. It is a CPI-based increase, 80% of CPI, which is about 2.08%, and then a slight increase in our disposal cost for our yard debris here at Canby Landscape Supply. We've done everything we can to keep our disposal costs down at our transfer station, so there's no increase to the trash rates in that area. Also wanted to say that we're proud to provide the service to the City of Canby and its constituents and residents. We're proud members of the community, And we're proud to give back to the community through various donations and sponsorships to many of the great local organizations in the area. And just want to thank you all and answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Any questions for the presenter? Counselor Stearns?
I don't know if I spaced out or not, but for this rate increase, what will the new rate be for residential?
It's in the packet. It goes up 1.6%.
To what amount, though?
$29.30 for a 20-gallon cart
Okay, $29.30 for.
from $28.83.
Okay. I want to make sure that, I like to make sure that's in the public knows the dollar amounts, because sometimes talk percentages and people.
And a 32-gallon cart is from $34.34 to $34.89.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Counselor Patton. I see your hand up.
Yeah, so I just want to say, the last time that you folks came in, I was a bit harsh because we had an ice storm close to that period of time, and there was some service concerns. I just want to say that we had a similar event earlier this year, and I did reach out to you folks personally to say that I felt that you folks handled the situation very well. I received no complaints from any citizens through that outage. There was excellent communication. I do have to call your office because for some reason my parents in New York got my call that my garbage was going to be picked up late. So I'm still trying to sort out how that happened. No, it clearly you have stepped up, and thank you for serving the community well.
Thank you, Councilor Patton. I appreciate that. And there's some old data in our system from the transfer of previous ownership. So I would imagine we have an old phone number for you in the system.
Counselor Davis.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation tonight. And thank you for being so responsive to the community of Canby. I know that you continue to support the Shredded Day, which you just got done with, as well as personally, I've had the opportunity to make calls to your office. The responsiveness was excellent on the part of your business. So, and thank you for coming forward with the CPI increase as well, because you have a business to as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Davis. I appreciate that.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to adopt Resolution 1432, resolution authorizing a rate increase and establishing a new rate schedule for garbage collection by Canby Disposal within the City of Canby.
Second, Jason.
I heard Counselor Davis first on that one, so motion made by Counselor Waterman, seconded by Counselor Davis to approve the resolution 1432, a resolution authorizing a rate increase and establishing a new rate schedule for garbage collection by Canby Disposal within the City of Canby. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 6-0.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
I'm not aware of any old business. Eileen? I'm not aware of any new business. Eileen?
No, not tonight.
Okay. And we don't have mayor's business this evening, so counselor comments and liaison reports. Mine is fairly brief, as my liaison assignments are forthcoming. But I did have the opportunity to go to the Oregon State Capitol a couple of weeks ago, as they approved House Concurrent Resolution 33 honoring Frank Cutsforth. So that was kind of special honor for him. So I just wanted to make sure that our Canby community knew that the state legislature honored him. And that is all I have for this meeting. I will start at the end over here. Councilor Waterman.
My information will be forthcoming as well with my upcoming liaison reports.
Okay, yeah, it's early in the month.
Yeah.
Councilor Stearns, do you have anything tonight?
My liaison reports will be forthcoming, so.
Okay, better make room on the 21st agenda. Councilor Patton, do you have anything for us this evening?
A little bit. I missed the Heritage and Landmarks Commission, I actually took some vacation time, so I was not able to attend that. The Planning Commission meeting coming up is canceled, but I will say that one of the big projects that will be coming through there that they have been working on for quite some time has been the updates to fence codes. So I don't know about you folks, but I am ultra excited to hear what they have to say about that. And then the last thing is the subcommittee to work on the goal setting and review process for the Canby City Administrator. We had our meeting. There was quite a bit of discussion and some adaptations, recommended changes and such made. The draft of the draft went out and there was no other changes. That has been sent to Emily for her review, as well as to get an inlay of how the city council, a process on how the city council would receive feedback from members of the city staff when it comes to the city administrator's review. Emily was out on vacation for a period of time, so I had a conversation with the mayor, and it was sort of decided that it would be best to make sure Emily had the amount of time she needed to go through the document and review it and put in what recommendations, changes she thinks need to be in there to make sure everything's copacetic. And so I'm assuming either on the 14th or the meeting after that, but as soon as possible, that information will get to you folks so that you can review it and then we can move it forward. And that is all I have at this time.
Thank you, Councilor Patton. Councilor Davis.
No report tonight.
Okay. Councilor Maldonado, do you have anything for us tonight?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. And I just wanted to make sure I understood, Councilor Patton, the draft that was sent out was sent to Emily, not to the rest of the council. Is that what I understood?
Yes, she'll review it just to make sure that anything that we have in there doesn't need to be changed for legal reasons and such. And plus, it was recommended, it was the decision of council to have her come up with a process to hear from city staff.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure I did understand you completely. Thank you.
Yeah, Emily's going to keep us from going to jail for.
Yeah, we need Emily to keep us out of jail. Okay, that's all of the council comments, city administrator, business and staff report.
I have a couple of comments. First of all, on Monday, I gave to the Kiwanis group, I gave a presentation on the state of the city, so wanted you to know about that. We did make an offer to a director, for HR director today. So we've been interviewing over the last couple of weeks, so we will see. Hopefully that person will accept that employment offer, and we will be back to having an HR director. And then the budgets for next week's budget committee meeting will be out Monday. So, and then finally, hopefully you all received a groundbreaking ceremony for the Mark Prairie Schoolhouse is May 14th from 3:30 to 8 p.m. So I wanted to make sure you knew about that. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. This is the second opportunity for citizen input. I don't have any cards, but if you want to input, you can quickly get one to her. Seeing no one rushing up. Is there anyone online, Teresa? Okay. Action review.
You approved the consent agenda. You adopted ordinance 1642. You approved ordinances 1643, 1644, 1645, and 1646 to a second reading on May 21st, 2025. And you approved resolutions 1426 and 1432.
Thank you. Okay, that is the end of our business agenda. So seeing no further business, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
To move to adjourn.
Okay. It's been moved by Councilor Stearns and seconded by Councilor Waterman. It's a non-debatable motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, Canby.
Aye.